Okay, let's redo that intro. Okay, that was really bad. So, you may have just seen the video I posted however long after I post or before. I put out a video recently. That's what I will say. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. I'm just kind of talking about where we're going to try to take the channel from here right now. And actually, I've got a little stuff to add. So, first of all, to that video. But, I think. So, Nick has been wanting to try his hand at directing to see if that's a profession he's interested in going towards. So, in my spare time, sometimes I'm working on another script that I started when I was younger, but it's a little better than the one I talked about in that video. It's about a vampire hunter, but it's like a comedy. So, yeah, that. We're kind of working on that. Kind of. But this video is not about that stuff. This video is about crap. What should I make this video about? I just kind of hit record. I didn't actually decide. Okay, one moment, please. All right, so I think I decided what I want to make this video about. For starters, hi, welcome to the channel. If you haven't been to the channel before, my name's Ellis, and I am not the only face on the channel. There are, there's other faces, and you might see some new faces pop up. You might see some old faces not pop up as much. The team here is always kind of changing. We have members that we don't always have working with us and all that. Like, you actually haven't met our cameraman, who, funny enough, is only on like half of the shoots that we do. But he's yet to be in a video, actually. Well, he's in the intro, but he's yet. But we haven't put that in a video recently. Wow, I'm really like losing my brain here. Okay, point is, there's other members you haven't met yet, and you might not meet them for a bit because of what's going on in the world. We're not getting into that stuff. Today, we're talking about a few things. First up, we're talking about books. Because books. Well, for the most part, this video is about fantasy nerd stuff. So if you're not into that stuff, leave! Or don't leave. Maybe you'll learn some cool stuff that you're interested in. If you don't know, I am a sizable, very big fantasy nerd. Like, we're talking fantasy novels, fantasy tabletop games, video games, movies, all of that stuff. I'm probably forgetting some stuff, but okay. So, first of all, if you need proof that I'm a true fantasy fan, then we have. Oh crap! I need to get this down. If you've read the first book in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, you will know. It's called The Eye of the World, by the way. Read it. It's excellent. What this is, actually, you probably won't because, well, you might have a guess. But the point is, so there's this thing in the first book. It's in the second book too, and I just finished the second book a few months ago, so I don't know how much longer it's in the series, but I'm guessing it's in for a bit longer. Anyway, there's this dagger. We're not getting into what the dagger does because spoilers. But I've been doing a bit of woodworking for the past year. I'm not the best at it, I'm getting started, and certainly this is not my best work. I was just bored one night, so I cut this out of a piece of wood instead of, actually whittling it out. But this is my interpretation of the dagger that Matt gets in that book. It does not look like most other people's interpretation, but I want to point out, if you have read it, that Jordan clearly says, well, it's kind of metaphoric the way he used it, but it's like really, really curved, is what he insinuates. So most people think it's just like a dagger that's kind of like that. Like, it's just like a normal curved dagger, like a pretty curved dagger. But when I got that, I thought scythe dagger. And then this is what I thought of the ruby hilt. So I did this drawing a bit back, and I thought, hey, why don't I just make it? Because I was bored. I also thought that this was gold. It's not said in the book, but that's how my brain pictured it. And I didn't have enough money to buy little cheap dollar store things I wanted. I know, I'm super broke. Well, not really, but I also didn't. Well, wasn't there, okay? Long story. I'm getting off track. Okay, so there's also supposed to be like little ruby inlays right here, but I didn't have those yet. So that was the thing. I made it. I'm proud of it. Now I gotta put it back up there. So that's the first order of business, I guess. So if you haven't read the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, you should read it, you know? I'm not very far, but it's so far been good, and it's, you know, one of the greatest fantasy series of all time. And Amazon Prime is making a show soon-ish. They're working on the first season right now, but they're making a show. Ow, my finger. You didn't see me whack my finger, but I did. Second order of business. Books. I mean, that was kind of book related, but like actual books I finished recently. If you don't know and you didn't watch that other video, I'm a big book fan. I have been reading my whole life. I love it. It's one of my passions. I don't talk about it a ton on the channel. And my favorite literary genre is fantasy, which is kind of the topic of this video. So, I'm going to tell you about some books I've just been recently finishing. So, and some stuff that I'm reading. I'm not sure if you're familiar with BookTube. It's like a group of YouTubers. Well, okay. You know, there's like different communities on YouTube, like YouTubers post different related content. You know, like there's like the Gacha Life community on YouTube. They're not all connected, but they all post that kind of thing. So BookTube is like book reviews and theory videos and lore about books and stuff. And there's a section of that where they're fantasy readers, like specifically. And there are two main YouTubers I watch in that category. Daniel Green, who is my favorite. Excellent. Seems like a really nice guy. I've been watching his stuff for about a year now. Yeah, maybe a little longer than that. And Captured in Words. Also great videos. He does not post as much as Daniel Green, but Daniel Green does it full time. And Captured in Words is really good at editing, so editing his videos takes longer. And, you know, he's got a job and everything. He doesn't talk as much about his personal life on there, so I'm not entirely sure the status of that. But we're not talking about other YouTubers right now. Well, right now we are. Point is, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you should watch them. They're pretty good. We're just talking about all the fantasy stuff I've been doing. And like I said, first order or second books. The books I've been reading recently. Well, okay, last year I finished The Final Empire, or Mistborn, as it's known in some publications, by Brandon Sanderson. Book. That is like a thumbnail they do on some of the BookTube videos. They're like, Okay, I'm gonna stop now. Point is, my God, I'm a little hyper. This book I finished about last year, and it's really good. But you're wondering, what are you talking about? Books you had last year? Is it just so you can do this pose and show your thick double chins? Well, yes and no. One, this is a good book. It's first in series. You should read it. Brandon Sanderson, or Brando Sando, is excellent. But that's not why I'm talking about it. The reason I'm talking about it is because the way I read series is, recently at least, I read the first books in all the series I'm interested in. I mean, not all of them, but I sample a lot of the first books, and now I'm going back through and reading all the second books. I don't know why I do it. It's kind of weird, but also I get a good sampling size, and I like that. But I finally got around to the second book, Well of Ascension, of which I am at page 368. I know, you really needed to know that, didn't you? And it's pretty good. I will say that. It is good. However, just wanted to say, however, no, it's good. I find it is a bit slower, I think, but that might actually not be the case. There's more political intrigue, I'd say, in this one, and that's because they're focusing more on the politics rather than the, not to get into spoilers, but the fighty fights and all that. There was more in the first book, and that's definitely not a bad thing. The second book is really good, and also I haven't been devoting as much time to it as I have some of my other reading things I'm reading and all that. And some of my other projects. Let's see, what other books have I got? So I've been reading Brisinger of the Inheritance Cycle, which, if you don't know, by Christopher Paolini. It's a series. It's also pretty good. Actually, I've got some interesting thoughts on this. So, I started the Inheritance Cycle when I was in 5th grade, actually, and I finished, I think I was 5th grade. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. I finished the first book, maybe I was in 4th grade, Eragon, the first book, Eragon, around that time, and it was one of the first bigger fantasy books I'd read at the time. And yeah, it was a great book. Pretty soon after, I tried to read Eldest, which is the sequel. It's a bit longer, and it's also a good book. But for some reason, I just couldn't. I was struggling to read it. There was a lot of stuff going on in my life at that point as well. Namely, I was starting to switch to a different school, and there was just a lot of stuff. So last year, I've tried to pick it up a few times over the years, and then last year, I finally picked it up for like the 3rd or 4th time. I burned through it. The ending was really good. The middle part was all really good. The beginning's a bit slow on that. But honestly, I don't blame him. It would probably be difficult to do that. Okay, but the point is, it's good. After I finished Eldest, I started on Brisinger, which is the 3rd book, and so far it's been good. I'm only like 100 pages in. I don't know what you're saying. You did that last year, because I started reading it, and then a bunch of other books got my attention, and I started building up a lot of books, and then at a certain point I was like reading 20 books at once. So I have a tub under my bed, which I put like a ton of books in. I got a tub of all the stuff I'm reading or working on, and I put that in there, and so I'm trying to focus on 1 or 2 at a time now. So I did that. I set it down, and I'm coming back to it now, and so far it's good. So, the Inheritance Cycle is kind of criticized for being cliche, or like not cliche, but like more tropey and less original. And, okay, there's a bit of truth to that. When Christopher Paolini started writing Eragon, the first book, he was 15, which is how old I am right now. Well, I'm 15.5 and a half. But if I say that, you're going to think I care that much, which I don't really, but I don't know. Why am I staring off into space? Anyway, sorry, I'm really spacey today for some reason. I keep doing this to my hair. I might just go. I don't know why I have so much energy. Honestly, it's just kind of good to be talking back to you guys. Or, that's not what I meant. It's good to be back to having this one-sided conversation to you guys. It's good to be talking to you guys again. I think that's right. Anyway, I should have done it faster. Anyway, so I know you're probably like, oh my god, he's just rambling on and actually not getting anywhere. But as the books progress, they become more original. Eragon was probably the least original, then Eldest added its more original concepts, and Brisinger appears to be adding more of those. And I feel like Inheritance, the author believes Inheritance is his best work, and it seems like the books have been getting better and better and better, and more original, so it seems like he's definitely progressing. Christopher Paolini, the author, by the way, has a new book coming out in September. It's a sci-fi book called The Sleep in a Sea of Stars. You should check it out. If you're wondering why I'm talking so fast, it's because I have a lot to get to in this video, and I'm also really energized for some reason. So, what else to talk to you about in this video? Let's see what other stuff am I reading. Oh, I finished another Brandon Sanderson book. It is book 1 of the Stormlight Archive, which is his most popular series. Which book 4 is coming out in December. This is The Way of Kings. It's book 1. This was technically the first of his books I read. I read the first 600 pages, then I had to return it back to the library, and I started reading the first Mistborn book. I finished that, and then later this year I finished this, because, sometimes I just get hung up and stuff, and I don't finish books for a while. This particular edition is the smaller edition, so it's a little more padded as far as pages go. The hardcover version is 1,001 pages, if I remember correctly, while this one is 1,000, like 1,200 or 1,300. I think it's 1,200. It's like 1,250 is what it looks like, around there. So that is a long book, and I don't know. I was certainly up to finishing a long book. I finished long books before. Eldest was more of like a, I don't know, pacing in the beginning for me, not as much the length. Let's see, what other books? I mean, I've been finishing a lot of books. I've got like a whole drawer of them, and I could talk about them for hours. I have some unused stuff that I was going to use to start my book channel that I'm kind of working on. It's called The Chronicler of Fantasy. It's about writing and books and all that, but I haven't really gotten... I was working on the first video, and I kept having all these problems because I edit on a Mac. It's my mom's old Mac. It's dying. It's getting old. I have Final Cut Pro, which is professional editing software. It's good for that. And, it's good, but it's just the Mac is dying, so it's getting harder to edit, and I sometimes lose footage and all that. But, well, right now, I'm finishing a lot of books, but I'm telling you about just some of the highlights and just some of the stuff recently, because I can go on hours. Like, I could literally make an hour-long video, and the website I'm using has a 45-minute limit, and books are only part of what I want to talk about. Dungeons & Dragons. I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons since the 6th grade. If you didn't know, I'm going into the 10th grade now, so that's 4-ish years. Sort of 3, I don't know. I've been playing for a while, and I'm pretty good at it now. I have a pretty good grasp on the rules, and by that I mean I have a grasp enough to break them frequently in the search of fun. I am not the most rule-following, serious DM. I'm the kind of DM who kind of makes up rules on the fly so my players can do fun stuff. Doesn't mean I can't punish them, but... So there's... Basically, the way I kind of do things is I know how to physically run a game, and I can... If people want to play with me and they've never played before, I can explain the very basics in about 5 minutes. Then they play and they kind of discover the very basics of the rules work. And I do basically all the main stuff behind the scenes just so they can get going and playing without having to worry about all that rule stuff. But as far as a lot of them don't grasp the system is both complicated and simple. So if they're saying they want to do this crazy thing that's technically not, there's not an outline thing that I found so far in the rules. I mean, I know them pretty well, but there's still stuff I don't know. Then I will make a system in my brain to do that, which makes sense within the actual rules, because I'm not a very serious DM. We have a lot of fun, but we don't really take things the most seriously. And that's pretty great, I do like doing serious fantasy adventures, but just with my friends, and it's fun, we laugh, and we do all that. Speaking of which, if you're interested, we can do some D&D videos on the channel of us playing. They might be kind of long, but it's fun to watch stuff like that. I've also been interested in Warhammer 40k recently. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's interesting. It's a miniature wargaming thing. There's a fantasy version, but technically this is a fantasy list. But the science fiction sort of Warhammer... So the fantasy version is called Age of Sigmar, or Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and the sci-fi version is called 40k. 40K is the one I'm more interested in. I have the starter set coming on the way. I could do like an unboxing or some sort of thing talking about it. In the video I released earlier, I talked about some of the stuff I've been building for that because I wanted terrain. And yeah, it's coming. I'm kind of just like working on that stuff, but it's just that's another thing I'm interested in. I didn't give like a very crazy amount of detail about it. If you like cool stuff, look it up. You could look up, if you're interested in like the lore, look up Luton09, or if you're just interested in general, search up Midwinter Minis on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of them recently. They're pretty cool. They give you a lot of interesting stuff. No Epic Games. I don't want you to do stuff. I don't have Epic Games on my computer for Fortnite because Fortnite is bad. Speaking of which, we were going to do a video about why Fortnite was so bad, but then one of our hosts decided it was good and the video was scrapped. Oh, we can't edit something over here. I was going to put like what you say or some sad music, but I can't do that. Well, I mean, I could, but these videos are kind of just me talking, and I don't really have the time and all that to edit them right now. And also, as we're not doing main reviews, viewership is down, and so, I'm not going to do the effort right now because I don't want to, and that may seem lazy, but I've got a lot of stuff going on. I just finished doing summer school, which was not because I did bad in actual school. I'm a pretty good student. I'm not going to get into that because, I don't know. You don't want to hear about that. You're not here for that. Maybe you are here for that. Post a comment if you're interested in my schooling records, and maybe I'll tell you a bit about them. Probably not, though. But Mom signed me up to do some extra classes so I could be ahead, and I finished those finally, and they took like 2 months. So I have like 2 weeks before online school starts. I'm just trying to enjoy those beautiful 2 weeks of doing absolutely nothing. And by that I mean I'm reading and writing and watching videos and stuff. Speaking of all the other stuff, I don't want to release a 45-minute video on you guys, so I'm going to try to get through the rest of the topics in this video fast. And since I've got time and I'm kind of enjoying it, I'm going to release a third video soon about something else or going more into detail about some of the stuff here. So, we talked about Warhammer, we talked about books. Oh, games. I was watching Daniel Green, the guy I talked about on his Twitch live stream a while back. He was playing Diablo 2, and I was like, Diablo looks interesting. I can't get Diablo 2, which is apparently the best one, for free, because Blizzard has a lot of free stuff on their thing. But I can play like the first act of 3 for free. So I started, I don't know, I'm kind of far. I'm begin the beginning, but a bit farther. I've been playing it for a bit. Honestly, I can say Diablo 3, it's a lot of fun. I downloaded World of Warcraft, another Blizzard game, earlier, maybe like last year. But I've been playing a lot more recently, just with one of my friends online. And we've been having fun, we're just leveling up, doing our thing. I downloaded Crossout a while ago from Steam. It's a free game. It's like a vehicle shooter thing. Not really fantasy, I suppose, but I don't know. I thought I'd talk about it here. I just tried it out today. I just hadn't gotten the chance. It's pretty fun, I could see how it could be addicting. It's a lot like World of Warships, or like, actually I haven't really played World of Tanks. So it's a lot like World of Warships, which I have, but I don't really play a lot because, it's not my favorite right now. I just kind of got it, and I played it for a bit, and I was like, okay. Not that it's a bad game, but this is a fantasy video, not random PC games that I have video. Ooh, I could do a game video. God, I need some breath. So, let's see, what else do we have to talk about here? We've gone through games, we've gone through tabletop games, books, YouTube channels you should watch. I don't know. Oh, my writing. So, I'm going to talk a little about it here, because this video is running a little long, and also, if I'm going to do a full thing, I'm going to do a separate video for this. Like I said, I'm a fantasy fan. I'm very, I haven't been in the genre for that long, or I haven't known it for a while. You know, I've read like little bits and stuff when I was younger, but like I got into like adult serious, like adult fantasy, not like adult like God, there's probably children who watch this. Like fiction meant for adults because you know how there's YA fiction, children's fiction, like for adults. You know, I'd read some YA before, but I've gotten into adult fiction or adult fantasy. Oh, my mom's home. Pretty recently. You know, I mean, like when I started watching Daniel Green and Captured in Words, which was about like a year ago for both of them. A little bit before that, and I've read a fair amount of it since then. And also about a year ago, I started working on my novel project, which honestly I've been kind of confused with, and we're slowly working through it. But I'm trying to find my footing again because I made some story choices, and I've got that I'm not sure how to continue on with. I think they were worthwhile, but I'm just not sure how to do that. But I'm also working on some short stories because they're not as long and I don't have to worry about stretching out things as much and I can just explore little ideas quickly and fast and all that. My mom's going to bust in and interrupt me pretty soon because she just got home. But I don't know. If there's anything else you want to know about any of the things, put a comment down below. I will answer it. Most likely, if I see it, and I'll get notifications, so I'll probably just answer it, just in general. So if you want to talk to me, yeah, here it is. Yeah, maybe I'll put my Discord info in the description if you want to talk to me. Maybe not in this video, but in a different one. And bye, I guess, you know. Adios.